Chad previously worked at Apple at their California central headquarters, developing software and working with external developers in building their software for a number of years. After finishing work at Apple, Chad returned to Saskatchewan and created and taught Canada's first university-accredited iPhone programming course, which had 71 students. Chad was also part of the development team which developed the first in-Canada iPhone application for university students, iUsask. Development of iUsask, which eventually led to the founding of CollegeMobile, a company focused on developing mobile small portal solutions for educational institutions. And we also have Amanda MacKenzie here this afternoon. She was involved in the iUsask project fairly early on. As the project evolved, so did her position at the university, and she moved to a developer position, and she is now currently a project manager. So I'd like you to give them a warm welcome.
Well, welcome everyone. So we're going to talk about mobile solutions, and I hope the volume on this is good. So we had a unique approach to this particular development. I would say it was not unique in the whole world, but it was definitely unique in campuses across Saskatchewan and Canada, is that we acted very quickly. We saw there was a need for something, and we just moved very quickly. So for our agenda here, we're going to talk about the class that I taught and created, and also the mobile solution as well. iUsask, it's called, just so there's no confusion. We'll also talk about MyMarks, which is a way of pulling marks from back-end databases such as Banner and Blackboard and presenting them in various different solutions, like through an iPhone application or through a website or any other type of portal or method that you want to use. And we'll close with lessons learned and that sort of thing. Okay, so the reason we started all this is because me and a colleague were watching students come out of classrooms, and sometimes in the classrooms, we would see them using their cell phones all the time. And what we thought is, why aren't we on that phone? Why isn't the University of Saskatchewan on that phone as opposed to everything else they were looking at? We want to be connected to students at all times, and when they're out and about and they're on the bus and this sort of thing, you still want to be connected to your students. Not only that, you also want to be connected to people in the extended community, like alumni. And how do you do that? Well, this is an emerging technology that is going to change a lot of things, I think. It's changing how people are communicating. So with this mobile trend, smartphones, and the iPhone is what came out right around this time when we were discussing this, it's something that's different from anything that's come before. It's a new class of device. It's always with you. It's always connected to the internet, well, most of the time. And it knows things about you. And it's really this ultimate, intimate, personal connection device that is very different from a laptop, say, or a desktop computer. It is, for a lot of students in this demographic that we're talking about, this low 20s, late teens kind of age group, this is one of the primary ways they communicate, sometimes more than face-to-face. So how do you reach these people? Well, you have to reach them with these mobile solutions. So I just got a couple stats here on what's the trends in mobile, and of course it's exploding. So going from 2009 to 2010, there's, I think, we don't have the percent on here, but I think it's almost, things have almost doubled in the amount of smartphones that have shipped over a year, and it's going to continue on this rate. So, and this is the actual number of users of phones who use smartphones. It's a growing market, and it's continuing to grow. It's currently, well, this is old data. It's from December 2009. That was the most recent data I could come up with. But you can see it's already at 42% and continues to grow. And with other things like the iPad and this sort of thing, it's going to continue on. So we're really facing a time in education when things are changing. There was a time when the internet came out and was still very new, and people weren't sure what to do with it, right? and I think that we're sort of in that field right now. Okay, so smartphones are continuing to grow, and the reason they're growing is because it's very, very important to students. It's how they communicate, and it's also a status symbol. It's, in many cases, as important as clothing is to them as an accessory that they carry with them and show off to their friends. So out of the smartphone devices that are available, and even the iPad itself, what is popular? Well, we've got some statistics on that. I don't want to spend too much time on this. So BlackBerry still has commanding lead. iPhone is coming on strong. Google is also coming on strong, and you got Windows Mobile, but as you can see with the green there, their market share is actually declining. BlackBerry's still holding their own. You can keep going. And so future trends, where are we going in the future? Google and iPhone look to be very strong. BlackBerry, I expect them to hang around. They'll probably still be a dominant, and then we're not too sure about the other players. So we might see an emergence of 3 main platforms. And then asking developers, what would you want to develop for? This is actually a very important thing as well. What are you going to be developing for in the future? Well, there you go, iPhone, Android, iPad, and then BlackBerry, and then after that it just kind of falls off. So you can kind of see the emergence of probably 3 different smartphone platforms that are going to be primary, and I also think that the smartphone is going to replace the dumb phone, if you want to call it that, the not able to surf the internet kind of phone, because these types of phones, these smartphones, are going to continue to fall in price and increase in functionality. Why wouldn't you use one of these as opposed to something else? Okay, so how do we respond to this trend? We saw the trend and we wanted to be part of it, and we wanted to take advantage of it. So we offered the first smartphone programming class in Canada that was focused on the iPhone, that had 71 students, and we also developed the app. So I'm just going to go through the class really quick here. So it was a little challenging to get it started, but we actually went through a series of revs. First we had workshops, and then we had some more involved things that we offered to the public at large, that they would come and see it. But we really saw a demand for this, and we actually initially started by saying only 30 people can attend the class. That's what the enrollment limit was. But we just exploded past that to 71. Okay? And we also covered other smartphones, and the class was actually covered by the national media across Canada, Maclean's Magazine and the CBC The National, among many other things. We had a representative from Apple who attended, as well as lots of different things. We had actually, it's interesting, we had a second-year student that created this project that actually a multimillionaire investor invested in the project to take it to market. So he obviously thought that what they created was valuable. So looking at the mobile solutions out there, you can say, well, we have a mobile solution. We already have a web page, right? Why do we need to do something special? And well, you can see the difference in functionality here. We have CBC's mobile solution, and then we have Global's, right? You can see that one is a lot better than the other, and it's a lot better experience. And you want to think about that, because if you have an experience like the one on your left side here, users aren't going to use your website, and you're just not going to connect with them. And the guy from Microsoft, I listened to his talk earlier, and he said that universities are going to use technology to differentiate themselves. Well, I think that having a mobile solution that is of value to the students is not just going to be a differentiator, it's going to be a requirement, that you're going to actually lose students if you don't have something that they're able to communicate with, something that speaks to them. So one of the things we did was we developed iUsask, which is, I guess you could call it a smart portal or smart platform. And basically it integrates into all different parts of the university, not every single part, but many different parts. And each one of these buttons integrates with a different part that students would care about, something that they would think as a unit in their head. And just the overall design itself, I'll just go real quick here. So we have the mobile devices, several of them, and not just the iPhone. And they all will be connecting to a middleware server that maintains security and is also that one central gateway through to all the different parts. And then they will connect to back-end servers as necessary, just for the people in the IT community who are interested in that. Okay, so we initially looked at developing this as a web-only solution, and we actually found that that wasn't going to work very well. The reason is because it was too slow. And another problem is let's say you loaded up the thing on your phone and you didn't have an internet connection. Well, guess what? Nothing happens. It's not a very good experience. And for something like a mobile device where your connectivity is questionable, you don't want to have to depend on internet connectivity for everything to work. You want to be able to cache things, and you want it to be fast. And one of the things when users use their smartphones is that time is accelerated. They want to see the data very, very quickly, and they're not willing to wait. So if they connect to your website and it takes them 5 seconds for it to load, no big deal, right? This is common. But when it comes to a mobile device, 5 seconds is too long. They might actually quit your app at that point. We've actually found that most apps are used for 1 minute or less, and then they quit or go and do something else. So it's sort of get in, get what you want, you look up your grades or whatever it is, and then you get out. That's the usage case, which is very different from a website where they might sit there for half an hour perhaps looking at all the different things that are available. So it's very, very different experience, and you have to design with that in mind. Okay, so we got some slides covering the app, but I'd actually like to give a little demo of it, just so you can see what it's actually like in person. So if you don't mind. Okay. So here's the application, and this is actually how it operates on the iPhone itself. And yeah, if you can just go through. So first we can go into, for example, classes. Now I'm actually logged in as a guest user here. So when I click on this, it gives you the classes that this particular student is registered in. And when you click on a particular class, for some of them we have notifications. So you can see things that the instructor has posted, what assignments are due. We also have other information such as contact information, like their email address, where the class is located, this type of thing. In another app we built, we actually show a pin on the map where the actual class is located. That's not in ours yet, but that's something we're looking at doing. So you can see there that this student has their personal list here of classes, and this is all classes, and Amanda can actually hit the Today button, and it'll actually show, just for today, what are the classes that I'm interested in. So as opposed to all of them that I'm registered in this term. So this is very personal information. It gives you contact with your instructor immediately, and we're actually looking to enhance it even further, more than just notifications, more than just being able to send your instructor an email, but just this personal forum for communication back and forth. I was talking to one of the math instructors on our campus, and he said that the way to teach students is, at least in math, is with one-on-one communication. And they find this very difficult in first year, for example, to get that one-on-one communication. And what he's starting to find is that this type of thing, this connectivity over the web, allows you to have that one-to-one connection, even though the students are too afraid to approach their professor, right? Because your professor is very, very threatening. You don't want to go and talk to him directly, but at the same time, the best way to teach is to have that one-on-one experience. So how do you circumvent that? Well, solutions like this might be one of the ways to do that. Okay, so let's go to grades. And hopefully, the network's quick. And so this is actually interfacing into what Amanda's going to be talking about, which is called My Marks. And it looks up all the grades for a particular student. It could be final grades, it could be midterm grades, it could be assignment grades, whatever is available. And so you can go into there, and if you want to get more information, you can drill down. And in some of the cases, there's actually comments that the instructor has listed. So if you go into, the Term 2 one there, there's some comments inside that one that the instructor has listed. So we actually found on our campus that, especially around finals, the students spend